everybody, it's Stephen and Walter here for another episode of So Chatty. Walter thinks he has weird lips, but that's a story for another day. Well, quit making your lips look weird. Okay, guppy lips. Good for you. All right, so as I said, welcome to another episode of So Chatty. It's August the 5th, 2019. Oh my God, I'm living in the past. 2022. And this is episode 70. Okay, let's jump right into what Walter's been working on. He's been madly cooking today. We're having guests for dinner tonight, and he's been making a peach pie and cursing and swearing as he's been doing so.
Well, my peaches weren't cooperating, and my pie crust was not cooperating.
Well, I think your pie crust, you're having problems with it. It was falling apart when you're rolling out because I think the house was too humid because we had the doors open and we didn't have the air conditioning on. We don't like to run the air conditioning all day long. I like if there's any slight breeze outside, even when it's hot out, I'd like to get a little bit of a breeze through the house. And then usually before we go to bed, we'll turn the air conditioning on for a little while and then turn it off. And usually when Walter comes to bed, which is like the next day. But anyway, so yeah. I know someone's going to write and say, well, you shouldn't do that. That uses up electricity. What you need to do is keep your house at a constant temperature throughout the whole day and whole night. And then you don't have to worry about that. And yeah, blah, blah.
Yeah, the only other thing, the thing is then you end up living in air conditioning all the time.
So. Yeah, and after a while, the air gets stale and you just, it makes you feel weird. But maybe that's because we're old. Everything makes us feel weird. But anyway, so he's been busy cooking up a storm for our guests. I was working on things earlier today, getting the charcuterie ready. And that's French for meat and cheese on a board. And that was just, but if you call it charcuterie, everybody gets excited. You know, sounds foreign and exciting. But anyway, so what have I been working on? Yeah, I've been working on something. Let me see, where were my pictures of that? Just find the right button so I can get this up here. There we go. And then switch that over. Yeah. So the gnomes. Of course it's gnomes. You know me and gnomes. I love me gnomes. This was Table Runner. It was an In the Hoop project. It was by Sweet Pea Designs. I thought it was going to be a little bigger. And it could be bigger because the way it's been designed, you can keep adding panels onto it, so more gnomes. But I just did what the pattern called for, and it works out to being about 24 inches long by about 12 or a little bit more wide. Good little size for a table topper at Christmas time. Will I make another one that's longer? I don't know. Probably not. It wasn't hard to do or anything, but it did take a fair amount of time, and yeah, I don't know. I'm over it now. So it's in my pile of potential Christmas gifts, maybe. And I just noticed something really a little weird. The gnome in the middle is Jewish.
Yeah, I noticed that last time.
I didn't notice that with the star. Okay. Maybe they're trying to make it sort of, you know, ecumenical or something, or like
yeah, then they could have a brown gnome too.
But they need okay, Kwanzaa. What's Kwanzaa? Isn't that the festival of lights or something? And around the same time, well, there's not gnome's got some lights.
Of course, you could change a brown gnome, but give him brown nose.
Well, I suppose so. Yeah, but whatever. I just noticed that. I didn't pay any attention to that when that star came out, but that's a Jewish star, which I don't have any problem with that on there. Just I find it. Can gnomes be Jewish? I guess they can. That one is anyways. So anyways, it turned out okay. And I'm working on another project here. Let's just see if I can get rid of this off our screen. Where the heck's the cursor? There it is. Say bye-bye to that. And let's go up here. Okay. So this is the project I have just started. It's not Christmas, it's Halloween. And as if you saw this week's Idiot Quilter, I talked about the fabrics I bought over the last couple of weeks in Halloween stuff. And I thought, well, it'd be nice to make a quilt. But I didn't want something that was, you know, full of cutesy little characters either. Although this one's got bats. And that's actually what attracted me to it. It had these interesting pieced backs. So I'm working on that now. And there's a lot of pieces to this. It's called Night Flight by Basic Gray. And it is, I downloaded it from the Fat Quarter Shop, so it was $10 American. I think it worked at a $13 and something Canadian for the pattern. And it's a fairly simple pattern. Also, it had stars in it, so I'm always attracted to stars, as you well know. But there are a lot of little pieces in this, so that I am finding, but that's okay. I think it'll be kind of neat when it's done. So that's what I've been working on. And just before we get into the main stuff we're going to talk about today, Craft and Chat, we had that in the past week, and we had a few newbies on there that had never joined us before, and then I had my usual regulars as well. And I think everybody had a good time. I'm trying to think if I learned anything. I always learn something from it. Oh yeah, there was a whole discussion on flange binding, which I knew about flange binding, but I've never really have done flange binding. But everybody says once you've done it once, you'll want to do it all the time because it really looks cool. I know it's not difficult to do. I just haven't done it yet. So maybe I'll put a flange binding on this quilt. I'll see to give it a try with that.
What's a flange binding?
Well, basically, it looks like piping. You've got a thin line. Actually, if you look on that diagram that I was showing here of this, if you see that thin black line against the orange, that's not a flange binding on that.
Okay.
I think that's just but that's what it would look like.
Oh, okay.
It's just a little thin piece that goes on at
Yeah.
the same time as you put the binding on. It just sort of gives
Okay,
it a
it's
nice-
sort of like that shirt I made that has the pipe.
Yeah. Yeah, the same kind of thing. In fact, a lot of people will call that piping, but it's actually technically known as a flange binding, I guess. But I have never done one, so it might be something that I'll want to try, maybe. And another curious thing, over a few weeks or so, we've talked about it several times, about how do you price a quilt that you might want to sell. Well, somebody made a comment, and this really confused me. And I wrote back to the person in the comment section about the confusion. According to this person, she had found out or had been told that as a rule at a local quilt show or something, they say the way to figure out the price you would sell a quilt is to take the number of square inches and multiply it by 0.06. In other words, 6 cents per square inch. Well, I started doing the math with that. So, if, for example, if you had a quilt that measured 90 inches across by, say, 72 inches, no, let's say 72 inches wide by about 85 inches, not doing this well, 72 long, no, across, wide, okay, 72 wide, and say 85 inches long as a rectangle, that's 6,120 square inches. Multiply that by 0.06 equals $367.20 is how much you would charge for the quilt. The reason I'm confused is, how can anybody come up with a standard formula? If you were, and this is what I wrote in the comment, if you bought all your fabric from a big box store or at Walmart or Joann's, and you bought the stuff that's not so nice, that kind of thing, because that's where you can usually find that kind of fabric. So you make that same quilt, that size that I just gave you, you made it out of that kind of fabric, and then let's say your piecing was not very complicated. It was maybe a bunch of 4 patches or something like that. And then you decided to quilt it with just stitch in the ditch or straight line walking foot quilting. So you charge $367.20 for that quilt. Well, even at the cheap fabric at that size, that would be probably $100 in fabric alone from that. So, and then of course your time. But let's say you take another quilt, same dimensions, but you bought
Premium fabric.
Yeah, like Kona or Riley Blake or Northcott or something like that. And then you had a lot of complex patterns that, like in that quilt I just showed you, that Halloween one, that's a little bit more complex than a simple little 4-patch. And then you quilted it and you did a lot of custom quilting to it. You're not going to charge the same amount for those 2 quilts because those 2 quilts are not worth the same amount. So, and she said this was a rule. Now, I have to admit, sometimes people write comments to me that I think they think I can read between the lines, and I can't. That was one sentence.
Maybe
That's
it
all
was
it said.
supposed to be like a rule of thumb or something.
I don't know if she meant a rule of thumb. I don't know. Maybe it was a rule of their particular quilt guild or something that put on the quilt show, or whoever.
Or it's a minimum price.
Maybe it's a minimum. I don't know. This is why I was confused. But there is no bloody way. Well, I have two issues with it. The first issue is the one I just went over. No two quilts can be valued at the same price unless they are identical in fabric, in time, in complexity of blocks, in complexity of quilting. And second of all, rule. That smacks of quilt police, and we all know there's no quilt police. Okay. And I have yet to see a rule for how to value a quilt. Now, having said that, Lynn Reinhardt of Cotton Art Studio, she is a certified quilt evaluator. Now, I think what that means is she's basically evaluating old quilts, antique quilts, and things like that. But maybe what she knows and what she's certified to do would also help people to, decide on what they should sell their quilts for. And I'm hoping that when I have my fall retreat, because she's going to be one of my guest speakers, I hope she's going to talk about that. I think she is. I've asked her to talk actually about the whole quilt evaluation thing. So I'm sure she's got some ideas about how to evaluate a quilt.
Just curious, like something came to mind. You know how some people send their quilts out to be quilted?
Yeah.
How much they charge by the inch, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know how much they charge?
Well, it varies. I have seen everything from 2 cents, 3 cents a square inch and up. Maybe that's what was meant in the comment.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Maybe they were talking about, but that's not what the comment said. The comment just said that this was the rule according to, no, this was the rule at their local quilt show. 6 cents a square inch. So I don't know, maybe she meant that was the price, that the average price that people charge to quilt it for you. But I'm not even sure if there's an average price, because I've seen them everything. I've seen them.
I would imagine it depends on whether it's done by machine or whether it's somebody that does a custom quilt. Like,
yeah, if it's an edge-to-edge design, those tend to be a little bit less expensive for the quilting than they charge for custom, where they do like, and the more custom they do, like they might do a different design in every block or in sets of blocks or something like that. So of course that takes more time, that takes more skill, that's going to cost you more money to have it quilted. But I don't know what this person meant. That's all I had. I had one sentence. I had like less than 15 words to deal with. So in my mind, I'm very confused about it, and I was thinking, no way. That's not a way to judge.
I think if you're doing a quilt for somebody and it's a certain size, then I would think that you would figure out how much the materials cost and then add money to it for your labor.
Well, somebody also wrote a comment and said that what she does, if she makes a quilt for somebody else, she adds up the cost of her materials and triples the price based on that to cover her, her work, her time, and everything like that. And I could see that being a reasonable formula. So if it costs $100 in materials, you sell the quilt for $300. But even that, to me,
yeah, well, a quilt, a decent sized quilt's going to cost you more than $100.
Well, yeah, true. So I don't know. I am sure there are many different ways to appraise a quilt or to figure out what you charge. I think the bottom line is it's up to you, the seller. You have to decide, well, first of all, how badly do you want to sell the quilt? Because you could price yourself out of a sale, right? On the other hand, you don't want to
yeah, I mean, if it's the quilt you just decided you sort of want to get rid of,
yeah,
you might let it go for less. But yeah. I mean, if it's one that you've spent a lot of time quilting and somebody sees it and says, oh, I'd really like that quilt, and it would be harder for you to part with it.
Yeah.
So,
and then one person had made the comment, just give it to the person. If you know them, if they're a friend or something like that, just give it to them, because you know that they really want it and they're going to love it. And if you're not, you don't have any other purpose for it or whatever, what the heck. And you want to know something? I think that's the way I'm going with it at the moment. I'm just, if somebody really likes one of my quilts that much and really want to own it.
Now you're going to get 20 million viewers saying, I really like that quilt.
I don't ship. I don't ship, and you can't afford the shipping. I mean, I've had people say to me, well, on the retreat, why don't you have a grand prize of one of your quilts? Sure, that would be a great idea. But it's the shipping that would kill me. Because anywhere that's not next door, it ain't with it, whether it's within Canada or whether it's beyond Canada, it costs almost more than what it costs to make the quilt, to ship it, depending. So yeah.
Not unless you're Amazon.
Yeah. Well, I'm not Amazon, so whatever. But anyways, this was not the whole point of today's So Chatty, because we've discussed pricing quilts before. I just thought that comment was one that, I was a little confused about that. So if you wrote that comment, whoever you are, maybe you could give me some more details about what you mean, like what's around that whole 6 cents a square inch thing. Where does that come from? Why is it there? Why is that a rule? Because that's the word that was used in the sentence. Okay, so what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're planning a trip to London, not England, unfortunately. London, Ontario, which is about 4 hours east of us. Why are we going to London, Ontario?
Because for 2 days away.
Just to go someplace where we don't have to fly, that we haven't been to in 1,000 years. We were trying to figure that out the other day when the last time was. We were
a long time ago.
And yeah, a long time ago. So
actually, the last time I was in London was, remember you were on that crafting retreat or something? It was a craft day or something at the hotel in Guelph.
Oh, yeah.
And then I drove from Guelph to London to go to a stained glass store.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Well, that was you. I didn't go to London. That
wasn't in there for very long.
So. No. But anyways, so I decided, Walter's already got us 2 nights in a hotel right downtown, lovely downtown London.
So it's not that exciting of a place to go, but we just wanted to go somewhere
that isn't here. I mean, we did talk about going to Quebec and down to the eastern townships and all that kind of thing, but it is tourist season, and those areas are very, very popular this time of the year. And that makes everything expensive. Your restaurants, your hotels, I mean, they're expensive enough at any time of the year. And then Walter mentioned about Montreal. We've been to Montreal several times in our life, and Montreal's kind of cool. It's interesting to go there and everything like that. But again, you're running into the same problem.
Actually, I kind of like look at going to London as something a little bit more relaxing for a couple of days. Whereas, you go to a big city, it's rush and all kinds.
Well, the other thing is, Montreal is 6 hours to the west or to the east of us. London is 4 hours.
Is it that long? Is it that far?
What, London?
Yeah. No, I don't think it's.
Maybe it's not even.
No, it's 4. It's 4, yeah.
Because I've always figured it's about equal distance. If we go to Ottawa, it's 4 hours one way. If we go to London, it's 4 hours.
Actually, I think it's less. I think it's more like 3 hours.
Okay.
Because
whatever.
It's another 2 hours to get to Windsor, and I know it's 5 hours from here to Windsor. So.
Okay, road math. Whatever. Could I say just something? Let's just say I'm guesstimating, okay? Walter will give you the exact details about this. Oh, here we go. He's going to look it up now because he has to be right. Whatever. I don't care, but it's closer to get to London than it is to Montreal. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
So, okay. Anyways, while we're in London, of course, we're going to hit some quilt stores. Now, quilt stores are going out of business left and right ever since COVID, right? And so there's not a lot in our area, but out there still seems to be a fair number of quilt stores, brick and mortar quilt stores still in existence. So I did a search and I put together a list of about 10 possibilities. I don't know if we'll get to all 10.
152 kilometers.
How far?
252.
And what does that translate into?
2 hours and 55 minutes.
It's only 2 hours and 55 minutes, so it's 3 hours.
3 hours.
And the way you drive, we'll be there in 50 minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah. No, actually, you drive like an old man. But we're not talking about that right now, so just get off the case about that. So, anyways, I found 10 stores, and
How would you know? You usually sleep there.
Lord help me. No, better yet. Okay, so back to what I was saying. I found 10 stores that sound like they're good potential to go and see. They're not all in London, although some of them are. Most of them are in the surrounding area. There's a couple that we've been to before as well, many years ago. So I organized these by how close they are to the hotel we're staying at. I went into Google Maps and figured that all out and whatnot. Of course, I'm sure Walter will disagree with me on that. It must be something else. But I have got their websites up here, and I just thought we'd just show you what we're planning to go to. And what I plan to do is, after we've been to these places, I'm going to I'll do a review. And I'm hoping to take some video while I'm there. It's always a little awkward when you walk into a quilt store that you've not been to before and, start shooting pictures or taking video and walking around in it. Not all people who own these stores are, like that. You to do that. So you gotta, the polite thing to do is ask their permission. But I also get a little self-conscious if there's other people in the store at the time too. It's like I'm talking about stuff. And so I don't know. What I might do is just take still pictures and then I'll put those together with a voiceover later to talk about the store. But here's a map of the London area on Google Maps. And you can see those red dots all show all these stores and where they're located. Oops, a little blow up there too big. Where they're located in the area. And London is right here in this area. And there is a university in London called University of Western University, so when I went to university, we called it Snot U, because that's where all the rich people went. But there's some of the stores are all listed here. So the first one that's closest to us, I think it works out to, it's called Stash Fabric and Notions. It's 6 minutes from our hotel. So it's within walking distance, I think. It's on one of the main drags in London. And here is their online website. And I was looking for pictures of what their stores look like inside. And this one looks, of course, these pictures are all staged, but it looks like it's got like a nice selection of fabrics. It looks nicely laid out. I checked to see what they had online, and they had a good variety of fabrics. I did not know about this store until I started putting this list of things together. Price-wise, I'm not sure. I think it was, let's see here. Let's just grab one and see. Oh, they've got Healing Waters by Northcott. That's the new one for the Indigenous people and the situation here in Canada with them. Kind of like it. I want to take a look at that. But anyways, I'm just looking here for a brand I know. Well, Northcott Color Works. They're just solids, but so solids usually are a little cheaper. So they sell it online by the quarter meter. So it's $2.50 a quarter meter. So it's $10 a meter. That's really good, but that's a solid.
Yeah.
Solids are cheaper. Let's just pop into, okay, now these are all prices are marked at a quarter. So $20 a meter for that. That's a bundle. That's about 20. That's 108 wide. So yeah, it looks to me, $5.25. So that's what? That's 5 times 10. That's $11. No, that's $21 a meter. So yeah, their prices are about the average rate now for what fabric is going for. So definitely a place I want to check out.
In Canada.
In Canada. Yeah, in Canada. Now, Stitch Essentials, the next one. I have ordered from them online. They tend to be, I think, a little bit more into cross stitch and hand embroidery. And you can see up here, they talk about knitting and crochet, quilting, tatting, and then they have more crafts, locker hooking. That sounds disgusting. Are you having fun playing with your watch?
Yeah.
Good. But I have ordered from them before. Their customer service was really good, dealing with them. And they do have fabric, and they have a fair amount to choose from online. So I'm interested in going to their store, and they're only 12 minutes from our hotel, 7.1 kilometers. So that's definitely doable. Now, this one is controversial, but I'd like to go here. I've talked about Len's Mills stores. We've only ever been to one, and it's the one in Toronto, and it's absolutely filthy. You come out of there and you need to shower and scrub yourself with steel wool after you come out of it. It's just a pigsty. And they have lots of fabric, but it all feels kind of grubby, and you got to really sift through the piles.
Yeah, they have a lot of low quality fabric, and they do have regular quality fabric, like good quality fabric as well. But you have to really look at what the quality of the fabric is that you're getting.
Yeah.
Plus, they have a lot of old stock.
Yeah. So, but I wouldn't mind checking it out, because there's been a couple of subscribers, Canadian subscribers, that have been to Len's Mills. One was in Cambridge, and they list the Cambridge one there, which is 105 kilometers, it says, from London. And
we tried looking for the Cambridge,
and we couldn't find
it. No,
but it's there. I forget who it was that told me that, but I think it was one of our subscribers that actually lives in Guelph.
Oh, okay.
So she obviously knew what she was talking about, and she said she didn't find that with the store there. So maybe it's just the one in Toronto. I don't know, but I wouldn't mind trying just to see. This one is called Crafty Kennedy's. And this is kind of interesting sounding, because they have quilting and sewing products, but they also have paper toll, and they do custom framing. And it's like they have
variety.
They have a lot of stuff. Yeah, like they're almost like, I don't want to say they're like a Michael's or a Joann's. I've never heard of them before, but they seem to have, and they look like they've got a lot of stuff. See, you can see in this picture, it looks like they've got, I don't think that picture blows up, does it? Looks like they got wood products and things too in here. So kind of interesting. Paper toll is kind of a thing you don't see too often either. Paper toll is the art of putting layers of the same pictures together to do 3D images. That doesn't really show it very well.
Well, the bird has a picture.
What is that?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, they're dimensional, and it's a lot of fussy cutting and kind of a thing. I've never really tried it, but Walter had a relative, his aunt. She was in Holland, and she used to do paper toll, and she used to send us these beautiful Christmas cards at Christmas that were all layered in all these images. It must have taken her hours to make one, because it's very, very fine, fussy cutting. So that looks like a potential. And that one is located, it's about 18 minutes from the hotel. It's still in London, though. Now, some of the ones, now we're moving out of London to places in the outskirts. This one's called So Creative, and this is in a little town called Mount Bridges. It's about 27 minutes from our hotel, according to Google. And it's got a cute little shop, but the town that it's in has like less than 1,000 people or something in it. It's a really small little place. But they sell major brands of sewing machines, and they have a fair amount of fabric online. Now 1048, I'm not sure if that's, I mean, a meter, half. I suspect that's half a meter,
Yeah.
Yeah, half a meter. It's half a meter, so that's it. So they're up there about $20 a meter, which seems to be the going price these days in Canada for it. So that one might be interesting little drive. Never been to Mount Bridges before. Now, these next two, Kaleidoscope Quilts, is in a little town called St. Mary's. We have been to this store. I don't remember much about this one, but the next one I'm going to talk about, I do remember. It's about 38 kilometers away from our hotel. But they look like, I remember going into this store and they had a lot of stuff to choose from in it as well. And it looks like their fabrics running around the, that's a panel 9, so that probably is half a meter, so about $18 to $20 probably a meter. They have Trentex fibers for fabrics as well, which I know some people really like that line of fabric. So, and threads and everything like that. Now, the one that I really go in when we're in St. Mary's is this one, and I can't say their name, is Higlet, like Piglet Fabrics, but they are famous for their extremely large collection of Cape facet fabrics, and everybody loves Cape facet, and they have walls of this stuff in there. Actually, $8.25 per half yard. Okay, they don't do it by meter, but that's actually $16.50 for Cape facet. That's pretty good.
Not bad.
That's pretty good. With that. So, and plus they have Tulip Pink as well. I'm not really a big fan of Tulip Pink, but
Dutch Heritage Fabrics.
Oh, didn't know that. Well, they are Dutch background, aren't they?
Maybe, I don't know.
Okay, so Dutch Heritage 9.
Kind of boring looking.
Well, that's Dutch for you. Got a lot of it. Just jump ahead. See. Oh, they have some prints. Oh, isn't that nice?
Old
ladies fabric. Yeah. Okay. Old person fabric. There'll be some ladies that may take offense to us saying that. Wow. Well, that's kind of interesting.
That looks like our bathroom curtain.
It does.
We got to get a new bathroom.
We need a new bathroom curtain. We got old lady bathroom curtains. Okay. Shower curtains. Well, I don't remember if that was in there when we went the last time. Probably was, but then when we went last time there, I had just gotten into quilting, so everything. And I saw K Facet, and I couldn't see anything else because I was going like nuts over that. Well, there might be some potential. Yeah, they're doing an old lady quilt, but they seem to have lots of it. Sue Spargo. Everybody talks about Sue Spargo. And I know she's famous for doing hand embroidery kind of thing in applique. And she has her own line of patterns and threads and stuff. But I heard somebody talking about Sue Spargo fabric on something the other day. And I didn't think Sue Spargo had anything to do with fabric, but maybe she does. But got a lot of threads. Those are all embroidery threads. Looks like they sell Berninas. Quiltworks. I don't know who Quiltworks is. Oh, yes, I do. They're a kit company that make these really elaborate designs. They're paper piecing. Foundation paper piecing, I think. They have all these really interesting looking designs. That's a New York beauty. Yeah. I don't do paper piecing really, but anyways, definitely this is someplace I want to go to, is this Higlet. Okay, if they were actually Dutch background, how would you say the name?
I know that's not a Dutch word, I don't think.
Is it not?
Higlet?
I don't know.
Higlet?
I don't speak Flemish.
Actually, it might be like highlight fabrics. That's almost what it looks like.
I don't know, whatever, but
I'd have to look that up.
I'd have to look up. And besides, St. Mary's was kind of a quaint little town too when we were in there, remember? Before they were having a little street festival when we were there that time as well. So that might be just a nice little place for lunch. Who knows? Now the next place, we're getting a little further away now. This is called K&A Quilt Studio. Um, they look like they deal with Husqvarna, but they have Kimberbell.
Husqvarna.
Yeah, whatever. I don't speak phlegm. I'm just interested in the Kimberbell quilting, what they have in that. Because usually when I see Kimberbell around here, it's always pillows. I know they've got some quilt designs, but I never see them. Well, this isn't showing me a heck of a lot here. So, go back. Just want to see what their quilt or their fabric is. Shop online. Fabric. All fabrics. As backing. Well, backing is on the upper end at 108 inches, 33.98. Imagine that's a meter. Although they got a good selection. Oh, they got some cheaper some too, 21.98. I'm always looking for backing fabric. There's a lot of it. Okay, but okay, does this? They don't have sidebars. Do you have to browse through this, or can you do a search? Let's just do a search for a brand name like Northcutt.
No, it just gives you regular fabric. It doesn't do it by your subcategory.
But 15.98. I'm assuming that's a meter. Yep.
Yeah,
per meter. So the prices aren't bad. So they may be worth checking out.
Check your white back again.
$31.90, $31.90, $23.98.
Yeah, I click on one to see what it says. That's
per meter. Yeah, well, that's what I figured. Because there's no way, if that was half a meter,
no, I know
like, oh, forget that. They look like they've got a really good selection, though, of wide backs, different things. You know, I'm always looking for that because you don't find a real, not down here in our area, you don't really find a great selection of wide back fabric. So that one's definitely one I think it's worth checking out. Did they have anything else that was interesting in here? Gifts, kits, machine embroidery, Kimberbell digital, candy corn. That's a Halloween thing. So it looks like they're kits. Ooh, that's kind of neat. Well, I just bought some of that. Well, I think this one's got potential for checking it out. And that one was, what did I say, how far away from us? That one is a little bit further away. It's about 32 minutes away. So 39 kilometers. It's on its way to Woodstock.
So we could stop there on the way
the way there, that would be, because there's another one in the Woodstock area too. What was the other one? I think it's this one in a place called, well, that's in Wood. Yeah, there's one called Country Patchworks that's in Woodstock. This K&A is in Ingersoll, which is also part of Woodstock. You go back here to the map. Oops. Okay. Why does it do that?
Why don't you go that way?
Where's my cursor? I don't know why does it blow it up when I
because you're doing
what
you're using
weird. Oh, what'd you do?
You hold the button down and move the thing.
Oh, learn something new every day. Okay.
There's Woodstock there.
Where's Woodstock? Okay, so where's Ingersoll? It's in. Oh, there's a Lennon's Mills in Woodstock too. So that, and there's one in London as well.
There's Ingersoll down there.
Oh, okay. So you see it's in the same area. So You're gonna move it for me, are you? Well, Country Patchworks is up at the top. Just see. That's the one that's actually Woodstock itself. So there's several of that area that are close enough on our way to London on the first day. We could stop in around there. And K&A Quilt Studios is down there in the bottom corner. So
I have to go upstairs.
okay, you got your pie in the oven?
Yeah.
Walter has to check his pie, so he'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Walter checked his pie and it's juicy. And which is what I usually call Canadian trifle, because it'll taste like pie, but you'll want to use a spoon to get every drop of it. It'll be fine, whatever.
It'll taste fine.
Yeah. So anyways, we were talking about this. So yeah, we could stop in at the Woodstock and in this area because it's on our way to London and check out a few things there. And you said what? Check into the hotel isn't until 4 anyways in the afternoon. So we got time to kill. Okay, so that was, which one was I talking about there? K&A Quilt Studio. Then there's something called the Quilt Kitchen, but I just noticed I don't know what this is that's showing up here on. Oh, that's the K&A Studio one as well. They just have we were just looking at that. Okay, the Quilt Kitchen. This one is located in Exeter. And Exeter is north of London. It's a bit of a hike. It's about 47 kilometers from the hotel. So that might be too far, but we'll see with it. But it looks like they've got quite a bit to choose from as well. You're just going to, oh, what's the view gallery? So that give us visitor gallery. Is that just going to show quilts? Is that going to show the store? And it just shows quilts and stuff. More of them need to put pictures of their stores on the inside here. They've got other things though. Kitchen gadgets. They sell quilts, pre-cut fabrics, kits, notions, patterns, kitchens, uncategorized events, miscellaneous. So where's all their fabric? Pre-cut fabrics.
Well, it looks like they have quilts for sale too.
Yeah. But I don't want to buy a quilt. I make them.
There you go, $5.75.
Yeah, look at this one. It's $950, $5.75. Yeah, of course. But do they not have yardage? They have pre-cuts. Background, celestial. Huh. That's interesting. So they have pre-cuts, but they don't look like they have any yardage. So I don't know if that's really worth the trip from where they're located with that. That's kind of disappointing. So, and the last one on my list is this one, Country Patchwork, which is, that's in Woodstock. Again, this one reminds me of the Quilter's Cupboard by the picture of it's outside.
Yeah, how do you make your garage into a shop?
Into a shop, yeah, basically. It's what the Edge Fabrics. Now they organize theirs on the side, and it looks like they've got quite not a bad selection. And what are they charging? Let's check what they're charging for batik. $16. I imagine that's a meter.
It says 16 quantity, but it doesn't say how much that is.
They're not saying if that's well, I would imagine, because that would make it $32 a meter if that was a half meter.
No, I know, but it doesn't say whether it's a yard or a meter.
No, so I don't know, but they look like they've got a lot of stuff to choose from. Classes, fabrics, kits. Back to that.
Well, there's regular fabrics is $21. But if it was a yard, I would think that's expensive.
Where are you seeing that?
There, Three Sisters Tranquil.
Yeah. But then they've got something here for 17 and 20, so it's all over the place. 15, 25. for Stonehenge, Canada, 1925. I would imagine that's either a yard.
2450. That's just plain old North.
That's just plain old Northcutt. Yeah. Interesting. But they might have some stuff there that I haven't seen around, like, well, one of a John Deere tractor.
No,
Like, really?
So.
Why not? What? Don't like that as a masculine design? What? But anyways, so these are
I do like that boutique though.
what, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it could be yours. It's
Color Me
Banyan. Well, Banyan is the boutique line from Northcutt. And they have a lot of boutique.
Oh no, that's the one. Color Me Banyan Gray Confetti.
Well, they have some pretty fabrics. Well,
Yeah.
I think that one's worth looking at, but that's on our way to London
Yeah.
too. So that's right in Woodstock. So anyways, those are the stores that I've sort of narrowed it down to. There were a few other places, but they either had very little by the looks of things, or they're just strictly an online store. They weren't they didn't have a storefront. So anyways, that's what our plan is. Now, when are we doing this? In about 2 weeks' time. But I thought we'd talk about that today. And if you happen to live in that area or been up in that area and you know of some recommendations you can give us of fabric stores that you think we should visit, please put them in the comments or send me an email with that. We'd appreciate it. Also, I'm not sure, did you look up things like regular garment fabric stores?
No, I haven't yet.
Yeah, some of these might have garment fabric, but
Yeah.
garment fabric is even harder to get now than...
Yeah, but I don't really need a lot of new garment fabric. I've got a pile of stuff that I've stockpiled that I don't really need.
It's not a question of need.
Well, actually, I don't have room to put it anywhere.
It's not a question of room. You can always make room. You have a lot of wasted space in that room. Well, it's the way you fold fabric. Like a big ball. Okay?
No, I don't. I've got them in drawers and everything else. My drawers are stuffed.
Oh, you're just bragging now. Look that. Well, whatever. So the show's going right down the tubes at the moment. So, yeah, that's about it for today on So Chatty. So our little glimpse into our trip. We'll keep you posted and let you know what we find when we actually get there. But as I said, we're not going for a couple of weeks, so there'll be another So Chatty episode next week. And again, if you have suggestions for topics or things you'd like us to talk about or look at or whatever, please don't hesitate to send me an email or put them in the show note or put them in the comments section. And if we can do it, we'll do it. So I hope everybody has a good week, and we have to get back to cooking like slaves. And when I say we, I mean Walter, for our guests that are coming tonight for dinner. So we'll see you next week. Say goodbye, Walter.
Goodbye, Walter.
Bye, all.